What's going on, guys? Brandon Lewis here, a Trumpomaniac, coming to you live from the very professional backyard studios of Casa de Lewis. Hey, guys, make sure before we get into the Big Seven, you go get your Tennessee voter guide. Look at this puppy. Page after page of information on who you can vote for that actually has a conservative record. You can see the links underneath this video. And while you're looking at that puppy, check this one out too, the RINO report. Now, this is the one that the folks in the RINO caucuses up in Nashville really hate when I put out. You know why? Because what it does is it shows all these terrible, awful votes that so many of these corporately funded RINOs make, and they think that you ain't ever going to see it. But because Mr. Vaughn and so many in our staff and myself go digging through the committee meetings, you can know who's a RINO and who is a true conservative, guys. That is total excitement. Listen, we have got headlines. We've got headlines. Who in the world would take someone seriously who delivers the news in a tank top in their backyard? I don't know. Probably conservatives that are tired of the traditional corporate mainstream media that lies so often that only occasionally do you get any truth out of them. Here are the stories we're going to talk about. God bless the USA. Lee Greenwood says prayer saved Trump's life. Nashville businessman who made fun of Trump's assassination faces some backlash, as you might expect. A gun reform group donates $35,000 to Tennessee RINO leadership, and they don't return the money. Imagine that. They never turn it down. Doesn't matter who it comes from. Communist Chinese-owned TikTok eyes Nashville for new office space. That's what we need, guys. Is that what we need? We need the communists in Nashville. As if we didn't have enough communists in Nashville already. We're going to import some true blue Chinese ones. Tennessee opposed to public funding for MLB Stadium in Nashville. I'm quite sure that won't make any difference to these corporately funded RINOs or the folks that lobby for this sports welfare, like Bo Watson's wife, who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars bilking Tennessee taxpayers while putting it in the Watson family account. That's always nice. Federal court sides with the state over a Tennessee law preventing change of sex designations on birth certificates. And finally, the TWRA, the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Association Agency, not to appeal the ruling that will stop searches without a warrant. These jokers used to just go onto people's property as if no one had any constitutional rights. Maybe it sounds like something Bill Lee would do. And so they're not going to appeal it, and that is a good thing, guys. Do go to Gab, Getter, Truth, MeWe, Rumble. Hit the subscribe button. You can follow this on a podcast if you'd rather listen to it because you find this tank top offensive to look at, or maybe you find me offensive to look at, and you would rather just listen to my nasally redneck voice instead of viewing my short self. You can do that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get podcasts. We are there. I remember it wasn't too long ago. I did this, it's been a year or two ago. I did a newscast in a tank top, and I received some very stern admonishments from people that say, hey, you just don't look professional when you do that. But you know what? I don't care. I don't get paid to do this. I'm a conservative citizen journalist, and so I get to wear what I want to. It's one of the few fringe benefits. If you appreciate what we do, go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. And if you give any amount, and I'm going to talk to you about this a little bit later, we're sending out some of these Tennessee for Trump bumper stickers. So if you want to get your hand on this Tennessee for Trump bumper sticker and a few other goodies, as I will talk about later, go to the website, hit that support button, and you can also hit the subscribe button to get our eNewsletter, because if you ain't getting that, you're missing out. Now listen, guys, I have been slacking because I was out of town, and Miss Adelia did a fantastic job doing the Big Seven in my absence. I was high in the mountains, Boone, North Carolina, Blowing Rock at the Highland Festival, camping out in the woods. It was quite fun, and so I got behind on the mailbag. So this first one I'm going to read from Tracy. Tracy, you know who you are, stalwart supporter. Just sent in some support. It just humbles me that there are people in Tennessee that care as much about conservative government as I do, and will get behind and see the value in what we do here at the Tennessee Conservative, because most conservatives just sit on the bench. They just sit on the bench, right? They don't spend any time, they don't spend any money on state or local issues, and then they wonder, why is everything starting to suck? Well, we got to get in the game, guys. So this says, the truth will ultimately prevail where there is pains to bring it to light. And that is George Washington. Thank you for all the great pains you go through to put up and put up with to bring the truth and the light for so many of us who would be left in the dark without the Tennessee Conservatives. Blessing, Tracy, thank you very much. I really appreciate all the time you put into the Tennessee Conservative. Your voice is a beacon attracting like-minded patriots. I will continue to support you. Thank you very much, Regina. We got another note here. As always, thank you for all you do at the Tennessee Conservative to keep the truth going for the nation and the state. Jenny, she's always been a stalwart supporter. I don't know if I can read all this one. I'm going to read some of it. This is from Mary, I believe. I've been following your news this past year and appreciate the time and energy you put into it, as well as the fundraiser for this coming election, etc. Funny, I work for... Oh, no, I'm not going to read this. This might identify somebody. But here's a gift for closing out to you. I can imagine the cost of running your operation isn't game-changing, but maybe it will help. Mary, it certainly does help. Thank you. Another little note here. I'm just losing stuff here. Sending a little something to help. Thank you for all that you do. Wish I could help more. Hey, listen. In the Bible, when the widow, gave her last copper, that's a good thing, right? And I'm not saying you need to give me your last. Don't hang on to it if you've only got one. But it's not about how much you've got. It's about giving some small part of it. So you can say, hey, I did that with my time or my money. And then finally, send a little something to help. Love what you're doing. Oh, that's just a copy of what I already had. Wait a minute, I dropped this one. And the last one, I promise. Thank you, Brandon Lewis, for fighting all the RINOs. We need you, Mary Ann. All right, guys, let's get on with the news story. Enough reading of the mailbag. Okay, let's get into the stories. Here they are. Man, and I tell you what, people wish we didn't report this stuff. They hate it. They hate it, especially right now as the elections are going on. Boy, they hate the Tennessee Conservative News more than they hate any other publication in the entire state because so many of these conservatives are sending people to our publication as third-party proof about the awful voting records of many of these incumbents, and that's why you got to get your hand on the voter guide and the RINO report. Enough of that. Let's get into the stories. God bless the USA. Lee Greenwood says that prayer saved Trump's life. Country singer Lee Greenwood, who sang last night in the RNC. Hey, I lied. I'm not getting right into the stories. I watched the RNC last night. Boy. I hate just sitting down and watching scripted speeches. And so much of the RNC and the DNC and all that stuff, they have a message. They screen the speakers. They say the same thing over and over again. And it gets kind of boring. Boy, that was not the case last night. When Hulk Hogan came out, I remember watching, we were so poor, I had 3 TV channels growing up, and a little black and white TV in the back of a trailer. Wrestling came on, buddy, I was watching it. And Hulk Hogan and the Junkyard Dog, Andre the Giant, Macho Randy Savage. I love that stuff. I don't keep up with it now, but it is so nostalgic. Dana White did a fantastic job, Kid Rock, and then, of course, Trump. It's hilarious because Biden can barely read or speak off of a teleprompter, and I would say probably 65% of Trump's remarks last night were just off the cuff, right? He's as comfortable in a huge stadium or 100,000 people as he would be sitting across a dinner table, and he doesn't need a teleprompter. So I left. I stayed up too late. I'm tired. I tried to sleep in and I couldn't. I woke up. But I hope you watch that. I mean, if that doesn't energize the base, I don't know what will. Okay, back to the story. Country singer Lee Greenwood says, God bless the USA. Sang it while introducing Donald Trump during Monday night's opening ceremonies of the Republican National Convention on social media. Greenwood wrote, I was never prouder to sing my song than that night. God bless Donald Trump. The convention was Trump's first public appearance since last Saturday's assassination attempt. I still can't believe it's that fresh. And I think I told you all in a video from my vacation, I mean, it just like a gut punch. I'm just so mad, so angry that, I mean, as much as they have done to the man, by lambasting his family, dragging him through all kinds of crap, the media is completely unfair, and apparently that's not enough. You got to try to kill the man. Anyway, Greenwood, who lives in Nashville, is a longtime Trump supporter, and he said, quote, you will not take this man down. He has courage and the strength, and he will be the next president of the United States. And he says that prayers, and I believe it. I believe that there is something afoot in America. Maybe we'll have a revival again. God knows. We need it. All right, guys. Nashville businessman who bemoaned that President Trump wasn't murdered, survived an attempt on his life, and faces backlash. Not this guy, Trump. We were inches away from freedom, wrote Chark, I guess, Kinsolving, Chark, maybe that's Charles, Kinsolving on social media in reference to a bullet which narrowly missed inflicting a fatal injury on Donald Trump when he spoke at the rally, although Kinsolving's Facebook account has since been deleted, I could imagine. Screenshots of the post quickly began to circulate on Facebook and X, leading many Tennesseans to call for a boycott of any of his enterprises. I agree. I mean, you don't have to buy from somebody if you don't want to. Kinsolving, a longtime business owner in Nashville, has since partnered with the family Walsh owner, Jordan Rubin, to open East Side Bowl in Madison. So East Side Bowl in Madison, stay away from that place. In 2021, a multi-use space featuring a bowling alley, etc. A similar project was planned in Matt Juliet, will likely now be in jeopardy. Our sources say this is due to the comments. The project will not likely be approved. We'll see what happens. People's memory is really short. Guys, there's this fake BS gun control group ran by RINOs, and I got to tell you about it so you can recognize it. When you see these signs in people's yards that say Voices for a Safer Tennessee, you just need to think gun control group. Gun control group. That's exactly what it is. Gun control group PAC, Political Action Committee, donates $35,000 to Tennessee RINO leadership. So if they're giving money to these Republicans, what they think is, I bet I can get some gun control legislation out of that RINO, and they're probably right. A gun reform group, Voices for a Safer Tennessee, donated about $60,000 to state lawmakers ahead of this year's election, with around 80% of money going to Republicans. The group, which formed in the wake of the 2023 mass shooting of the Covenant at Covenant School, which we've never seen any information on, which the media continues to try to cover up, which Phil Williams won't touch with a 10-foot pole, which the government agencies and the judicial system and even our own legislators and governor won't step in so people can get the truth. Why? Because the narrative freaking falls apart. A mentally disturbed, overly medicated person who had been told and coddled her entire life that if she wanted to pretend to be something, everybody else had to get in there with her. And between the drugs and the head trash that they put these people through, she was miserable, as you might expect. It's hard to stay healthy when you take supplements and exercise and diet for your own sex. Imagine trying to do it, trying to pretend to be something else. And that's why people like Bill Lee and stuff wanted to push that gun control agenda, and did. And many of them signed red flag gun laws. You'll find it in the RINO report. Republican leadership primarily. Anyway, Voices for a Safer Tennessee is a 501c3 dark money political group. Made $100,000 in Political Action Committee. So here are the people. The group gave $35,000 to the following RINOs, every one of them. Cameron Sexton, RINO. Randy McNally, RINO. William Lambert, RINO. Ken Yeager, big old RINO. And they also gave Republican state reps Andrew Farmer of Sevierville and Mark White of Memphis. I don't know if Andrew Farmer's a RINO all the time. The name rings a bell, but Mark White certainly is. So there you go, guys. Republicans pushing gun control. Would you think it? Well, you ought to, because that's the kind of crap that goes on. And you never see that headline in the Tennessean, do you? You never see that headline in the Chattanooga Times Free Press or any other major broadsheet. Memphis commercial appeal. No. Only here at the Tennessee Conservative News, because we are the largest and, in my opinion, only conservative news alternative. The Tennessee Star, God bless their heart, they do some good stories every once in a while. But if you run an ad over there, you slide somebody like some greenbacks, they'll write a puff piece as if you're the most conservative person in the world. Guys, and this is a shout out to Patrick Leahy, quit doing that crap. Just find some other way to get the money. Don't take the money from the RINOs and then lie to the subscribers about them being RINOs, okay? I remember when Jack Johnson tried to give us some money when he was running against Gary Humble, and I said, you can give us money and we'll run the ad, but that's not going to change my editorial comments, and that's not going to change my support of Gary Humble. It's not. Guess what? That money never made it to me, and I don't expect much of it ever will. Guys, if you'll go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support, we will send you this Tennessee for Trump bumper sticker. If you'd like a Tennessee for Trump hat, you can go on our website, and there's a little ad there. If you get $100 or more, we will send one to you. I don't have it right now. We'll also send you some of these bumper stickers. Stop feeding the RINOs. God knows they're fat enough already. Don't California my Tennessee. And then we'll send you this directory of all the elected folks, I hope this puppy changes. I think it's going to change. I think we're going to have a lot of these RINOs are going to be retiring. Forced retirement is what we're going to call it. And if you give $50 or more, we're going to send you this proud Tennessee conservative tumbler. Now, this thing is made of the same stuff that Elon Musk makes his rockets out of. I mean, this can survive re-entry into the atmosphere should you ever need to. Should you ever need to come back into the atmosphere, if you got this cup, it's going to hold out. It's going to hold out, and even if it starts burning up coming through the atmosphere, it's still going to be cold inside. It's still going to be cold inside. You're going to have ice cubes when you hit the ground. Guys, go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. If you get $50 or more, we'll send you that, or a recurring donation of $10 or more. We need your help, guys. I've been amazed with the outpouring of support. Oh, you can mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee, 37377. P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee, 37377. We've almost got this website done. I'm going to try to send out an email about it tomorrow. It looks real good. There's some tweaks we're still making, but we're about to revamp the whole website. It has been a long process, and I'm afraid to do anything before the primaries because I don't, if something should go wrong, people depend on us for election news, so I'm not going to mess with it until after the primaries. But hopefully within a week or two after the primaries, we'll have that stuff out. So thank you, guys. All you people that have just continued to freaking support us, it just amazes me. We've turned a corner here at the Tennessee Conservative. We're actually about to start being able to spend money on subscriber acquisition. We've never been able to do that before, and it's only because of the generosity of people like you. So listen, if you've listened to this podcast multiple times and you have never given, shame on you. You got to give. We're the only show in town to help a brother out. I don't take any money out of this thing. I put way too much time into it because it is my passion. It's like the old Oak Ridge Boys song. Trying to Love Two Women is like a ball and chain, and Joe Bonsall, who I interviewed, recently passed away, and that broke my heart. But nonetheless, there's a line in there. It says, one has the money, the other has my heart. It's a long, hard ride. And so my paying business, coaching contractors, has the money, but the Tennessee Conservative, in many ways, has my mind and my heart. And so, guys, if I can chip in a lot, you can chip in a lot. TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. Here's a good one. Communist, China-owned TikTok eyes Nashville for new offices. As if we don't have enough communists already running Nashville and on the city council and everything else. Did you see, I think it was the Metro Council, would not pass a resolution condemning Trump's assassination attempt? Yeah. Classy, right? Classy. And you wonder why that place is turning into you-know-what hole. All right, guys, social media company TikTok is working a deal to invest millions of dollars into a multi-story building in Nashville's Music Row. I don't think we need this stuff. I'm surprised Bill Lee hasn't lined up at the door to give them money. Every time there's any large corporation that says, hey, we're going to do something. Oh, here's $1 billion, here's $1 million, here's several million. It's just Tennessee taxpayer dollars. There's no accountability if you fall on your face or don't hire the people or anything like that. But here's the money. Let's keep doling it out. Tennessee Senator Marshall Blackburn has previously spoken out against the company's expansion. Blackburn said, quote, when TikTok's CEO was in Washington, I made it clear to him that Tennesseans are extremely concerned about China's influence. Their parent company is tied to Chinese Communist Party by strict laws in Beijing that force companies to hand over users' personal data, etc. Just last week, TikTok was weaponized to push propaganda and lobby on behalf of the Communist Party's interests. Does not surprise me. Next story, Tennesseans opposed to public funding for MLB Stadium. Well, guess what? Newsflash, they were opposed to the Titan Stadium. They're opposed to the Ford Motor Company deal. Does that stop RINO Republicans like Bill Lee and all the Republican leadership, Cameron Sexton and Randy McNally, from giving millions and billions of your dollars to pick winners and losers? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm a small business owner. I've been doing this for, I've been independently employed since about 2008, doing side hustles even before then. Bill Lee ain't ever sent me a check. If you own a small business, Bill Lee ever show up to your office? Oh, great, we appreciate you being here for 100 years. Here's some money. Or here's some of your money back, maybe. He ain't about the little guy, he's about the corporations. Guarantee it, write it down. Tennessee voters don't want to pay for the construction of a Major League Baseball stadium in Nashville. Of course they don't. That's what ticket sales are for. According to a new Beacon Center poll of 1,200 state residents, the poll asked if people support using state tax dollars to fund the construction of a stadium. 58% were opposed and only 27% supportive. But I bet Bo Watson's wife is probably, I don't know, she was big into the Titans thing. See, these numbers don't dissuade RINOs. RINOs don't care what Tennesseans want. They just want to get that money. They want to get that money, put it in their pocket, right? That's what it's all about. The opposition was similar for those in the state's largest county, 61% opposed. The opposition was nearly the same amongst different education levels. Tennessee taxpayers are sending $1.27 billion, including $500 million direct subsidy from the state toward the construction of the Tennessee Titans Stadium. This is a travesty. I hope whoever wins governor the next time around will do something to get rid of this crap. That'd be a good campaign promise to make. But if it's not Bill Lee, you make 10 campaign promises, you keep one of them, and you're supposed to be really awesome. Also created a tax capture along with the city of Nashville, expected to collect $3.1 billion. Economist J.C. Bradbury said, if you don't believe the polls, look at what happened in Nashville's last election. New Titan Stadium supporting candidates did not fare well, and the current mayor was a vocal stadium critic. Next story, federal court sides with the state over Tennessee law preventing the change of sex designations on birth certificates. Thank God. Last week, a federal appeals court panel said the state of Tennessee is not unconstitutionally discriminating against people that want to change their biological sex listed on the birth certificate. A 3-judge panel ruled 2-1 in an appeal brought before the U.S. Sixth Court of Appeals. Judge Jeffrey Sutton, writing for the majority decision that upholds the district court ruling. Sutton wrote, "There's no fundamental right to a birth certificate recording gender identity instead of biological sex, and the new state law goes, quote, long predates medical diagnosis of gender dysphoria." There's no such thing as gender dysphoria. There's no medical nothing, Sutton. It is a mental disorder. It has nothing to do with any of this. It has everything to do with this, and probably something to do with this, and probably something to do with the underworld. That's what it has to do with. The 4 Tennessee plaintiffs, who are male but say they are women, good grief, were unable to show that the state's law was created due to discrimination, etc. The plaintiffs sought to change more than a 50-year-old state law, so on and so forth. These people are crazy. You know, I think there's a movement afoot. People are tired of this crap. I couldn't believe it the other day. I saw, I can understand John Deere and Tractor Supply. Shout out to Robbie Starbuck for putting that out there and really embarrassing these companies. It's what it takes to get them to move, and lots of others that have done similar work. But it amazed me. Like I read the news, and I don't know, I hope it's true, that Microsoft decided to get rid of its DEI leadership. Microsoft. I mean, I think people are finally starting to realize that if you go woke, you go broke. People don't like it. And all these shares keep tumbling on the news of this crap. But boy, if you want to go buy something, and you want it to be a conservative company, good luck. Good luck. Twitter. Thank God for Twitter. X, whatever you want to call it. This is the only free speech platform out there of any significant size. I'm so glad that they actually let our content get out there, unlike Facebook, which censors and shuns us. Yeah, we stopped growing about 3 years ago on Facebook. They throttle our content. Here on X, if it's a home run, it's a home run. If it's a dud, it's a dud. And some of our stories people don't care about. That's just the news, right? Last story, TWRA decides not to appeal a ruling that will stop searches without a warrant. Why these bozos over there ever thought that they could do this, go on people's private property and post cameras and crap like that, and searches, warrantless searches. These people ought to, you know what ought to happen when the judge passes this as the sentence? It ought to be like, all right, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, everybody around your house can go rifle through it without your permission, and you can't do anything about it, and enjoy that. Enjoy that. I think it'd be great to put the shoe on the other foot of a lot of these government employees. The Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency will not appeal a Tennessee Supreme Court decision that no longer allows for searches to take place under open field doctrine. According to the court's recent ruling, TWRA officers, I'm getting bit. I'm getting bit over here. Something's chewing on my leg. According to the court's recent ruling, TWRA officers must now obtain explicit permission from landowners or a court-ordered warrant in order to go onto private property. That's how the founders intended it. That's what the Tennessee Constitution says. The Tennessee court sided with the plaintiffs. The Institute for Justice is hopeful that the case will lead to other states following suit as well. They should. Guys, thank you for all your support. Getting ready to revamp this website. It has been a bear. I sat down with Jason and John yesterday and looked at it, and I had some things I wanted to change that I think will make it better for you. We're also going to add, I hope, fingers crossed, an event calendar to our website. So I always say that the Tennessee conservative is like the Holy Spirit. Wherever two conservatives are gathered, we're there also. And that I want everybody to be able to see the monthly meetings, the speakers, all the stuff. So if you want to look, so what's going on in the state of Tennessee that I could go to, where conservatives gather, we want to put that on the website. So that's something else that's cost a little extra money. But we're moving in the right direction, guys. We're moving in the right direction. So what's going on this weekend? For those of you unfamiliar with the Big Seven podcast, where I talk about the 7 big stories in Tennessee, at least the ones that we think are big. Good grief. I'm turning into lunch over here. At any rate, I always, at the end of my podcast, tell people what I'm doing this weekend. So what am I doing this weekend? What's Brandon doing? So Brandon Lewis, this weekend, tonight, I may or may not have a buddy coming over to smoke a cigar and sit on the porch. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Last night, I went to my good buddy Eric and his wife Amy's house to watch the RNC convention, and our kids played, and one of them had a sleepover, and we came back with another one, and that was a good time. That was a great time. He cooked out some wonderful venison burgers. He's a great cook. Eric's a great cook. And so hung out with him. I'm going to go try to work out before my friend comes over tonight at the gym up here on Signal Mountain. And then Saturday, I've got to work in the morning, and I'm going to do something fun with the kids. I don't know what. It may have to be indoors. I think it's going to rain, thank goodness. My grass has been murdered. I can't even show you. It's been murdered. It's already new construction grass, but we got a sprinkler system. It's still being murdered. But nonetheless, and then I'm going to go to Lincoln Day dinner, Hamilton County Lincoln Day dinner. Thank goodness. I hope they don't have a bunch of state candidates speaking. I hate that. Because they get up there and lie 24/7 about the records, and I'm sitting there in the seat fuming. Because I'm like, there's a lie, there's a lie, there's a lie, there's a lie, there's a lie. Thank goodness it's Mark Green, who I like pretty well. And who has been pretty vocal about a number of things, is the keynote speaker. Now you got to get through the hours of the agenda that are just like people patting each other on the back. I mean, I'm surprised that those people can even use their arms the next day when you go to most Lincoln Day dinners. Not all of them, but I don't know. Maybe I've just grown a little, what's the saying? A little cynical. Because when you know the truth, not when you just show up to meetings and accept whatever you're told, but when you do your research and you go to some of these meetings, you're like, that is not true. That is not true. So it gets a little dicey, right, to sit there. And then Sunday, we're going to go to church, and then hopefully go to the pool. I hope we can go to the pool. I'm going to take the kids to the pool if the weather's decent. If not, Daddy's probably going to have to find something else for them to do. I'm running solo. My beautiful wife is in a conference in Charlotte with her sister, and so it's just been Daddy and the girls, which is fun. It's fun. Night before last, we had family game night in my office. I usually do the podcast and the live stream from the office, and so we did Pictionary, which I love. That's a fun game. Ruby's not, she's 5. She's not the best drawer, but she gets in there. Played Hungry Hippos. Hungry Hippos. I think I was cheated. Personally, I think that thing was slanted and all the balls kept rolling toward Ruby. I don't know. And then we played War, which, if you're not familiar with it, is just where you lay down cards and whoever has the biggest card wins. And Ruby loves playing that. And so I'm a big game player. I could sit and play Rummy all night long. I'm not a gambler. Not because I'm high and mighty and don't have vices. I have many. But I just don't like business is enough of a gamble. Running the Tennessee Conservative is enough of a gamble. Guys, primary research. Go get this stuff. It's in the link in the comments. Jason's already put it down there. Brandon Lewis's Tennessee Voter Guide. These are my personal picks. If you don't like them, lock it, lump it, tangerine it, whatever you want to do. But it's good. It's set up real simple. It's just got check marks on it. And then, hey, here's something I would say at the end of this podcast that I did uniquely that I don't think I've ever seen done in a voter guide before. And that is this. If you get this voter guide and you see somebody is not conservative, or if you just know they're not conservative because you have kept up with the news through our site or other organizations like Tennessee Stands, etc., and you know these people aren't conservative, don't vote for them. Write in a real conservative. I'll say it again. Write in the words "a real conservative" as a protest vote. We don't need to be giving these RINOs any votes, even if they're unopposed. No, no votes. No votes. If you want to vote for them when they're running against the Democrat, do. But I tell you what, sometimes I wonder if it wouldn't be better if we had about 30 or 40 Democrats up in Nashville more. And here's why. I think the Republicans might actually have to start voting conservative if they had Democrats pushing on them all the time. Right now, they could call a quorum without a single Democrat run business up there. Wouldn't make any difference. They got a supermajority. They got a quorum-proof supermajority. So when they ever blame anything on the Democrats in Tennessee, they're lying, because they can do whatever they want to. And also get this RINO report. Figure out who the RINO of the year is, who the Freedom Caucus award recipients are. We have some volunteers that received awards in here as well, so you want to get your hands on that. Guys, I appreciate you. Go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. Help us get this stinking website over the finish line financially. And you can also mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. Guys, I love you. I mean it. I'm sorry for going long. I miss y'all. I miss you when I don't get to do the Big 7, when I go out of town. Oh, goodness, I don't think I'm going to be here next week. I'm going to be deep in the woods in an undisclosed location. The last time I went camping, I had some cell phone service. Where I'm going next week, no cell phone service. You got to drive like 45, 50 minutes, maybe even longer now, because the bridge is being worked on, and I think I can't go the way I normally would work. We'll get down there. So I'm going to be in the deep woods. So I'm going to have a billion emails when I come back. So if you need something, get to me now. Guys, love you, mean it. Brandon Lewis here with the Tennessee Conservative News. I'll talk to you next time. Until then, I'm signing off. See you guys. Be good.